Namaskar and good morning. I am Vinod Agarwala, the chairman of First Extraordinary General Meeting of Iris Business Services Limited for the financial year 2024 and 25. It is my privilege to extend you warm welcome to all the shareholders present. Today's EGM is being held virtually utilizing infrastructure provided by NSDL and in full compliance of all the applicable laws in this behalf. I welcome the other directors on the board of your company to this EGM. Please allow me to introduce them to you. Mr. Bhaswar Mukherjee, who retired a few years ago as Director of Finance of PSU Navratna HPCL, is the Chairman of Audit Committee and Stakeholders Relations Committee. Bhaswar Dada, you introduce yourself.
Namaskar, I am Bhaswar Mukherjee, an independent director in the board of your company, participating in this EGM from Navi Mumbai. Thank you.
Thank you, Bhaswar Dada. Ashok Venkatramani, a veteran marketeer who has held leadership position at companies like Hindustan Unilever, ABP News Network, and Zee Media Corporation, serves as chairman of Nomination and Remuneration Committee of your company and Social Responsibility Committee of your company. I think Ashok is not here at the moment, so he will join us later on. Dr. Hasib Drabu, a former chairman of J&K Bank and a former finance minister of Jammu and Kashmir, is a renowned economist not only in India but also worldwide. His notable contribution as a member of GST Council are well recognized. Dr. Drabu serves as chairman of Risk Management Company of your company.
Good morning. This is Hasib Drabu, independent director of your company. Very glad to be here. Thank you.
And I now invite whole-time directors to please introduce themselves.
Thank you, Chairman. My name is Swaminathan. I'm the CEO of the company. And I thank all the shareholders for participating in this meeting. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Balachandran, whole-time director and CFO of your company. I'm joining this EGM from the company's office in Navi Mumbai. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. This is Deepta Rangarajan, director of your company. Very glad to be here, and I'm joining this meeting from Chennai. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. I am PKX Thomas, full-time director and CTO of the company. I'm joining this EGM from Kochi. Thank you.
Thank you, all-time directors. We also have Mr. Santosh Sharma, company secretary, Mr. Vinod Kandoi, financial controller, and several other members of leadership team who are joining from their respective locations. Representative of statutory auditors, KKC and Associate LLP, and the secretarial auditor, Preeti J. Seth and Associate, are also present today. Mr. Santosh Sharma, the company secretary, confirmed that requisite quorum is present. Therefore, let's proceed. Furthermore, I would like to inform you that today's meeting is streaming online on company's YouTube channel, Iris Business Services Limited. The notice convening this meeting has already been emailed to all shareholders and may be considered as read. To transact the business as mentioned in the notice, members were provided an opportunity to inspect all the documents referred to in the notice and the explanatory statement. Instructions for joining EGM are also provided in note number 20 of the notice to EGM. In accordance with applicable laws, the company has provided facility for voting by electronic means to all its members. This enables them to cast their votes electronically. For this purpose, the company has partnered with e-voting system of NSDL. This remote e-voting facility is provided to all persons who are member on Friday, June 14, 2024, which was cut-off date for voting on 2 resolutions set out in the notice of EGM. Members attending the EGM today who have not cast their vote by remote e-voting are entitled to exercise their right to vote by e-voting. Messrs. Rishish Shah and company secretaries has been appointed by the board as the scrutinizer for e-voting at the EGM. The results of voting will be declared after considering the e-voting done today by members participating in this EGM and the remote e-voting already conducted by the other members. The results, along with the scrutinizer's report, shall be submitted to stock exchanges, that is BSE and NSE, and will also be published on company's website. Since the meeting is convened through video conferencing today, resolution have already been put to vote through remote e-voting, and the requirement for proposing and secondary is not required. I now request Mr. Swaminathan to please address the shareholders.
Thank you, Chairman. And I think most of the information that has been set out in the explanatory memorandum that came along with the resolution sets out the motivation behind this fundraise and what we propose to do with the money. I just want to give you a little bit of context of the whole fundraise. This is the third time the company is actually raising money. The first time was when we were private, and we are grateful to the private investor who actually invested in the company. That was very important for product development and taking our company to the next level of growth. The second time we raised money was during the IPO. That allowed the company to come out of a crisis and literally grow from strength to strength, taking the revenues from about 20 odd crores to where we are today at 102 odd crores. This is the third time we're actually raising money. The growth in the last few years has come from having a robust business business segment that we call Collect, which basically provided the foundation for the rest of the company. That's the division that threw up cash, which allowed us to grow the Create business, which today accounts for over half of the revenues of the company. So we have the total amount of money we've actually raised ever is about 22.5 crores. In a world where Series A investments are like $10 million and above, for us to reach where we have reached, 54 countries, 102 crores of top line, profitable, of course, EBITDA positive as a consequence. There's no gainsaying that. Well, when you basically look at those numbers, we've done this with literally very little money, which is why we are optimistic that the money that we're actually raising, we can take the company to the next level of growth. And there is a breakup available in the explanatory memorandum in terms of what we plan to do with the money. So the question that have been asked, some shareholders have sent us some questions. I thank them for the questions. I want you to first appreciate that everything that we have done is in accordance with the SEBI rules. Yes, I'm aware that the stock price went up around the time that we had the proposal to raise money. But the SEBI rules very clearly dictate that the pricing has to be above a certain hurdle as defined by an average that's calculated using their metrics. And that's exactly what we've done. The second thing that I wanted you to know is a question that was asked by somebody about as to whether this money is enough. You should appreciate that we have a fair amount of money cash in the bank. We had about 16 crores as of March 31st. And if we keep doing better, I think that cash should only go up. So technically speaking, we not only have the money that we hope to raise in this round, plus the money in the bank, plus the bank limits which are still underutilized. When you add up the three, I think we will have excess of 40 crores available to us for taking the company to the next level of growth. Is this enough to take it to the next level of growth? Well, so far, when you look at the company's three divisions, the Collect, Create, and the Consume segments, the Collect segment does not need funding to grow. This is RFP driven, where we basically go and bid, and we win the bid and we execute. The Create segment is what needs money to grow. We think that we have enough to get started. We are optimistic that we should be able to get to a situation where no additional capital is required to grow at a higher pace than what we are used to in the last so many years. At the same time, if we believe that we will need more money, by that time there will hopefully be a good performance, and therefore, if a fundraiser has to happen, it will happen at a later date on much improved terms. I'm not saying that the fundraise will happen in the future. I'm also not saying a fundraise will not happen in the future. I'm only saying that 40 crores that we have right now access to is sufficient for us to take us to at least some portion of where we want to get to. And given that we have literally a good product, and we have a product that's gained significant market traction, we believe it's enough for us to see some good results as far as the company is concerned. There are new opportunities, including the ESG opportunity, where we believe we are well placed. You will also be very happy to know that the latest metrics that have come out benchmarking our company have also shown us to be a good product that the market will be happy to use. The challenge is to now reach out to customers and convert them into our users. You are also aware that we have recruited a fairly senior salesperson to push Carbon, and the early results from there are very, very encouraging. It will still take some time for results to come in terms of revenues. It will take some time for things to come in terms of conversion of customers. Customers take a certain amount of time to get used to the product and convert. So don't expect something in a rush, but it's fairly okay to basically say that we are more than optimistic about where we are actually headed. Now, as far as the question that have been raised, in addition to any other questions that have actually been raised, this is not the forum to discuss financials of the company. We have discussed financials of the company in the analyst meet the last time. We will again discuss the financials of the company after the half-yearly results. To the extent that we've already disclosed what we're going to do with the money, it's already there in the document. But in terms of how it will affect EBITDA, how it will affect revenues, we are hopeful that this investment in marketing and sales will be significantly sales accretive. How significant is only something that only time will tell. But we will always keep you abreast of anything that happens as far as the company is concerned on this front. I will now hand you over to Balu. Oh, I'm also very happy to report that yesterday we received the NOC from Bombay Stock Exchange for this issue. It's very significant. So thank you, Bombay Stock Exchange, for your action and in giving us the in-principle approval for this issue. So we can now proceed with the whole thing. So Balu, over to you.
Well, thank you, Swaminathan. I don't have too many things to add, except that I can give a small overview of the proposed preferential allotment on private placement basis, which is anyway outlined in the explanatory memorandum in detail, but let me give you a small overview. So we are looking at raising about 20 crores from 2 qualified institutional buyers who are registered with the Security Markets Regulators, SEBI. So the names of these 2 investors are, one is a fund called Praditi Growth Fund, which is Bangalore based, and another Bangalore based fund called Tunga India Long Term Equity Fund. So these are the 2 funds who are going to put in or proposing to put in money in the company, and they will be looking at investing in the company through a combination of equity shares and warrants. So we are looking at them investing about 5,43,478 in terms of equity shares and 5,43,477 in terms of warrants. These warrants will be converted to equivalent equity shares, and it will be done within 9 months from the date of allotment. Now, the post-issue capital of the company will go to 20.44 crores and 81,170 rupees compared to where it is at this point of time, which is about 19.36 crores and 11,620 rupees. So this is roughly about the new shareholders will be roughly get about including full conversion of the warrants will have shareholding, post capital shareholding about 3.72% will go to Praditi Growth Fund and about 1.59% will go to the Tunga India Long Term Fund. Now this money that is going to be raised, Swaminathan did talk about the fund requirements and how we are going to deploy it. So we also given a small table in the explanatory memorandum, and we are saying that bulk of it will go to sales and marketing activities, followed by product development related expenses. So that is from my side at this point of time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Balu and Swami. Now I take up item number 1 and 2 of the business as detailed in the notice convening the first EGM for the year 2024 and 25. Item number 1 is issuance of equity shares by preferential allotment on private placement basis. And item number 2 is issuance of warrants convertible into equity share by preferential allotment on private placement basis. We have a list of shareholders who have registered as speaker shareholders with the company and would like to speak or ask questions. We will call out their names. I request the speaker to be brief and to the point. Members can also raise queries by clicking on raise hand on the option on the Zoom platform. I request all speakers to introduce themselves before asking questions. The management will answer all questions received before the close of proceedings today. I urge members to take advantage of it. I now request Mr. Sanjeev Yadav from NSDL to call upon the shareholders.
Thank you, Chairman, sir. Now I will call upon shareholders in turn to speak. All speakers are requested to be brief to allow other members to give a chance to speak. Now I request Mr. Anil Mehta to ask his question. So Mr. Anil Mehta has not yet joined the meeting, so we will move with the Q&A section. We will now move to the Q&A section. I invite shareholders to raise questions by clicking the raise hand option and introduce themselves. Tech support, please allow Mr. Sid.
Hi, thank you for taking my question and outlining all the information in the annexure. My main question was, is there any specific reason we selected these two funds, that have an association with Infosys? Will they be more than passive shareholders in the business and help with the sales and marketing or product development? And the second question was just, did we raise the amount we were targeting to raise? Is it more or is it less? Some color around that would be great. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for both questions. Chairman, sir, I'll take the question if I may. May I?
Yes, please go ahead.
So thank you for both questions. I'm glad you asked the question. We've been trying to raise money for quite some time, and we've not succeeded at all. We even appointed a merchant banker who failed to get us offers. It's only in the last 3-4 months that 1 or 2 people actually came to us and offered to invest. As a consequence of all the efforts, we've been doing a lot of outreach. We have been doing an outreach in Bombay. We've been doing an outreach in Delhi, outreach in Bangalore. We've been talking to funds. We've been talking to investors. I mean, I've been meeting people regularly in terms of trying to do this. Many meetings were fixed up by the investment banker. So among the various people that we had an outreach to were these 2 funds as well. And these 2 funds responded, and we're grateful to them for responding as they did. At the point in time that we got them in, the important thing was to basically get good investors who would basically come in. And as you rightly pointed out, one of them is from the family office of Infosys founders, and with a significant real sector experience. They're going to be passive shareholders. I mean, can we turn to them for advice? I hope we do. I hope we're able to do that. I hope they're also willing to give us some advice from time to time. I also have to be mindful at the same time of not violating any insider rules by sharing information that should not be shared with them. And I'm sure, given the extraordinary amount of respect they have for governance, they will also respect that. So I'm sure that their experience will actually be useful to us, and that we can leverage it. So that's the first question. I hope I've answered that. Secondly, in terms of raising money, yes, we wanted to raise a lot more. If you recall, we talked about even 100 crore raise at some point in time. At the same time, we have to be mindful of the impact it will have on the promoter holding and the dilution for other people. So after a long amount of thought and discussion, we basically said that given that we have a fair amount of cash in the bank, and given that even the 100 crore that we wanted to raise would have been in 2 tranches of maybe 50-50 each or 60-40, we said, given that we have access to about 40 at this point in time between the bank limits and the internal cash accruals and this investment, we said, let's do 1 round this time and do a 2nd round at a later date if we need the money. If we don't need the money and our performance rises to the level that we hope it does, then we won't need the money at all and there will be no further dilutions. So the amount was fixed. The amount is certainly lower than what we think will take us to the promised land. But having said that, we're also optimistic that 40 crores is not something to literally, sneeze about. It's not something that's trivial. We should try to use the money well. And once the data comes in from the uses of the 40 crores, I think we can revisit issues like this at a later date. Sid, I hope I've answered the question.
Yeah, that was very helpful. Thank you. Just to clarify one point, I'm sorry if I misunderstood. Did these funds reach out to you, or when you were reaching out to people, it was part of that process? I think
it's part of the process. It's part of the process.
Got it. Okay, great. Thank you so much. That answered it.
Any other questions, Sanjeev?
No, sir. I think no one has raised his hand, so we can move further.
Okay, Swami, I'm sure that you will not require any fundraising hereafter. Your internal approval will be sufficient to meet all your requirements. Having said that, all questions have been replied. I request those who have not yet voted to exercise their voting using the e-voting platform of NSDL. Kindly vote. The e-voting module of NSDL will remain open until 15 minutes after the conclusion of the meeting. I thank you for attending the meeting and for your active support. Thank you and all the best to you. Good luck.
Thank you.